these, they'll go and pick up dead bodies from in front of your lawn.
Yeah.
So should you have someone die in your front yard,
right?
They can actually come out there and scoop them up
without having to touch it with their hands.
You don't want to touch it with your hand. Not a dead body.
No, you really don't. No. You really don't. That's pretty slick. Get enough of them, take them to a mass grave, and dump it.
Yeah, needs a little more of a polish on the.
I have a little nostalgia here at the Panther booth. While we're not still on the truck, my heart's still with Panther. And action.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Outer Belt. I'm Patrick.
I'm Chili.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Eric.
And today, Jerry's on camera duty.
That's right. Doing a great job too.
Doing a great job. As you can tell, where are we, Melissa?
We are at Matt's in Louisville.
What is
the
Matt's?
Mid-American Truck Show.
There you go, Mid-American Truck Show.
She loves her acronyms.
She does love acronyms.
Yeah.
She's very, reminds me of like trucking. You know, we love our TVAL and our TCUs and our PMAs, PMBs, HOS.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's so great.
We're at the Mid-American Truck Show.
And we just got here. We sat through about an hour to get our badges because everybody and their brother's here. And we're going to go explore and see what we can see. Come along with us.
Yeah, come check it out.
Funny, we were just talking about Shell and Rotella. It's kind of like one of the huge name brands for engine oil, right?
Right, yeah.
And in our fleet, we actually use Mobile Delvac.
Yes.
It's our preferred oil vendor. But it's ironic because when it comes to our company, like small vehicles like the vans and stuff to get around town, we get Shell gasoline, not Mobile gasoline.
Exclusively.
Exclusively Shell. But we prefer Mobile oil products. It's ironic, right?
I get it. I don't know if it's ironic. Sure, it's ironic, Patrick.
Isn't it ironic?
Don't you think?
It's kind of like rain, okay?
On your wedding day?
No, your funeral.
That's true because you're nice and dry in the casket.
That's right.
And
everybody else is getting
outside soaked wet.
Completely soaked.
They're just laying there laughing.
Looking down from heaven.
Oh,
that's great. That's great. What else we got? So I think what's so funny about this is I wish we had the aluminum sided boxes. You know, you've seen the aluminum trailers that haul produce and stuff, and they're so shiny and so pretty.
And you drive by, and if you're passing them, you drive by and you slow down.
And you look at
over
yourself.
and look at yourself and go, oh, that's a sexy truck.
It's a nice truck, yeah. Or you get behind them and you throw your bright lights on, and then you quickly turn them off because you're blinded behind them. I mean, look, imagine if you had this truck.
Yeah.
You could shave.
You could shave right there.
You know what I mean? Like,
you
just
could,
touch it up a little bit.
Pluck your eyebrows. Yeah.
How long until this beautiful truck loses its sheen is my question.
It reminds me of a circus mirror.
When they pull it out of here on Saturday afternoon, it's done. It's done.
Shining through the life of the trailer.
Really?
Really?
No.
That's what I said. Right. That's right. It's funny because he just asked how long it's going to keep its sheen, and I said when it pulls out of here Saturday, it's all gone.
It's going to be wax.
Any weather, it's
right
done.
wash,
Wax on. Sure.
Wax on.
That's awesome. Well, you know, Vince, the fun thing about this is that these trailers are built out of aluminum. It was actually 4 people lifted this thing in the air.
We saw that this morning. Yeah, I was surprised it was that light.
Fast. It's like it was nothing.
Do that. Yeah.
Now, if it was loaded with Quickcrete.
Yeah. 6 people. 6 people can do it. Yeah.
Can you imagine if that thing was full of Quickcrete and it sprung a leak? Water started getting in?
Well, just go over and pull the handle and let it all come out.
Let it all, yeah.
Maybe it's got bourbon in it and you can go tap it.
Oh, No, that's that one over there.
Oh, that one over there.
Yeah,
That one
that's
over
a
there.
tanker.
See underneath it? That's all the taps, all the bourbon taps.
Got it. Small batch, foolproof.
Yes.
We are in bourbon country.
All right,
They
and
do.
then they do have a mix too, where you can mix
Yeah.
the two if you want to.
And then the very last one is an old fashioned.
Yeah, there you go. It's
Pre-mixed.
tanker aged.
Tanker aged.
Tanker aged old fashioned.
Instead of barrel proof or barrel aged.
Is it just me? Or do some of these salespeople look like they're being held here by force?
Well, some of them are being held here by force.
I mean, some of
Their job contract says they have to be here.
these people are so excited to show off their product.
Oh, sure.
And then other ones are like, why do I work for this company? It's interesting.
It really is interesting.
It's of note. That's all I'm saying. It's of note.
Some people love this stuff. They thrive on this stuff. Others would much rather sit in their office and field phone calls and web orders.
I think this stuff's great.
I think it's
I just
fabulous.
like,
Our Western doesn't have the big cans up front for the air filters. It does have the big exhaust.
I'd
This
say
is the-
gorgeous.
this is the new one. This is the wide cab. One-piece windshield. This is the new
Oh, wow,
model.
yeah.
This is a wider cab. So Vince, this is, I was wrong. This is not the new W9. This is
Okay.
the 900. This is the classic truck Kenworth's
Right.
been making for
Ever.
long time.
Yep.
And it is beautiful. I
It's
do love
gorgeous.
this truck.
Gorgeous truck.
It does have the one-piece windshield. You know, I got thinking about it. Our original Kenworth,
Uh-huh.
which is the same cab as this, also had the one-piece windshield.
Right on.
I forgot about that. It's been too long. On the other hand, this is the new W9.
Okay.
So if you'll notice, they got rid of the sealed beam headlights and
Right.
went to like the new
The
modern,
new style, modern LED looking things.
LED headlights.
Yeah.
Are they LEDs? They're not quite LEDs yet. The grill's huge. That cab is ginormous. The one thing I'm really sad about is no more air cleaners.
No more air cleaners, yeah.
Instead, they went with these little like air
Yeah,
ducts.
the intakes. Yeah.
Better for fuel economy, I get it, but it doesn't have that same style as
Doesn't
having
have
the
the
air
same style.
cleaner.
I like the chrome mirrors on the older one versus the black painted ones.
I wonder if you can get. You've got to be able to get chrome mirrors
I'd be
on the new
surprised if
one.
you couldn't.
Yeah, I think that was
Really.
a spec they chose, but I'm pretty sure you can get
I'd
chrome
be
mirrors
surprised
on
if
it.
you couldn't.
I do like to keep the Kenworth badging. Everything on
of
that is
course.
the same.
Divider.
It's even the same wheels. I don't know if Jerry could even show it. It is the exact same wheels. They kept those. No difference here. Same size tire. I do like all the LEDs. Like, this has the aerodynamics of a toaster oven.
Yeah.
This is slick. I mean, like,
nice.
you just right over it. Yeah.
I like the bigger grill on the older one, like longer.
I like the older one a lot. You
Yeah,
know, one
black.
thing too, you look at these old trucks, the old design, they got the rivets.
Yeah.
These are riveted and bonded doors. This over here, it's all welded, all steel doors. Actually, they're aluminum, but they're all welded. They're not riveted together anymore. But if you get inside this thing, let's pop up in here. And the first question I have, I'm gonna let you get in here a little closer, Jerry. My first question that I'm gonna have is, Vince,
Yes.
what is that stick sticking out of the floor for?
This is your whipping stick. This truck has an 18-speed manual transmission. Notice also it has 3 pedals down there.
Why does it have 3 pedals?
Yeah.
Is
Just
like
in
one an
case-
emergency
just in case-
brake,
yeah, just in
one's
case
parking
one of them
brake?
stops working, you have the third one.
Oh man,
Yeah.
this brings back so many memories. So this is like
Whoa.
This is like trucking when it was trucking.
So I had to step down to get
Yes.
into the sleeper.
So Eric and I actually we started the company with one of these. It was a T660 with the studio sleeper. It's like so like it wasn't the long hood W9, but the cab and sleeper are identical.
Yeah.
Oh
sleeper's
man, this brings
nice,
back
86-inch
memories.
sleeper.
It's the
It's funny,
same.
we got into a sleeper the other day in a Kenworth truck, and we were both standing here like
Yes.
this.
Oh,
so
this-
this is obviously extended condo size style.
It's a studio. So they have a condo, which is smaller. This is
Okay,
the
it's a
studio.
studio.
So first and foremost, you've got a couch back here instead of a bed. So
Right.
this couch actually folds into a bed.
Okay.
And there's another bed up here, and it pulls down. So that's your 2 beds, but the bottom bed was quite a bit larger.
Sure.
Got a nice little shelf here. What we did in our truck back when we had it, we pulled this bed down. It was down all the time. We never ever lifted it up.
Okay.
So I actually screwed in and bolted a TV mount to this.
Okay.
So we had a TV hanging right at the foot of the bed,
Nice.
and then a PlayStation 4, 3, 4, 2, something fits right here, and that was our DVD player / YouTube / whatever.
Nice.
It was right there. Yeah, like this, I forget how large this is. It's actually very
It is
comfortable.
a nice size.
You got a filing cabinet, got a drawer down here. You have 2 closets. That's cool. So if you have 2 different people in here, closet number 1 and closet number 2. So ours, I wonder if this still has it. You've got a big storage space here. This one, when we were in it, had a table. Oh, it still does.
Oh, the table folds down from the
So
door.
this is a table that folds
that's
down.
pretty
Watch out,
slick.
Vince. I'm going to have you just
pretty
step
slick.
over there. So you can actually sit here, and
table to work on.
that's your table to work
Nice. Now, where do you hide your refrigerator?
on. You don't have it. It's right here.
Oh, I didn't see that down there. Okay.
Yep. So the
Nice.
fridge is right here. Just a standard old tractor refrigerator.
Yeah.
We used to have that thing packed full. Fold down cup holders. We ripped these off in no time. They are cheap, flimsy plastic, but you know, at least they thought to put something back
Sure.
here. Yeah, man, this brings me back, way back. We kept our coffee machine here, and our microwave was right here. And this is actually a seat belt for your microwave. So you would put your microwave here and then strap it down. These, you can see from the outside. It's kind of hard from the inside to see, but there's 2 windows here, and they've got these little like covers for them. We never open these.
I believe it.
Not one
It's
time
been
ever.
closed. Yeah.
Just left them closed. Say it's time to go to bed, and you're gonna pull your curtains closed. If you look, they don't really. This doesn't really work, does it?
Oh, you're not getting all the way dark.
It's because you have to do that, and that will allow them to come together, and you can zip them up.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow, that's kind of cool. That way you get more space up front, too.
It's kind of a, yeah, exactly.
And as you can see,
while
they're
you're,
kind of going right here next to the
yes,
the
exactly.
seat.
So while you're driving, keeps them out of the way or whatever.
Right.
It's very cool. So I like a lot of this because it's practical. It works. It's more work than what we're used to, right?
Sure.
Like in a modern truck, you don't do this. But it was very practical, and for the day, it was super revolutionary. Again, this was the most jealous, like the best truck, the best sleeper you could possibly have. Had a Caterpillar engine. These were like amazing. Even today, I would be so happy to drive this thing.
Yeah,
It is a fine truck.
nice truck.
Look at that hood. Just look at that hood out the steering wheel, out the windshield. Just all that hood.
What you gonna do with all that hood?
All that hood in front of your steering wheel. No, notice the steering wheel has no controls.
Yeah.
Everything's on the dash.
Notice how when I get out, I have to duck
Yes.
because you are stepping up to get back into the cab.
There are definitely some
Ooh.
negatives. Kenworth puts all their lights right here. So you would think that if you're going to turn your headlights on, you just flip this one switch.
Right.
No.
No.
You actually have to also flip this switch, and if you're pulling a trailer, you got to pull that switch, because they don't keep their like one switch doesn't do everything. You got to do everything individually, manually. We didn't know that. We drove this thing for about a month before we discovered that, and couldn't figure out why they weren't working. And it was like, oh, we just didn't do the switches right.
For a month with no marker lights.
For a month out with no marker lights. Also, the truck, actually it's probably a week, but the truck's turn signals are not auto canceling. So when you hit your left turn signal and you actually turn left and you straighten back up,
Yeah.
it just stays on.
It stays on.
You have to actually manually cancel it yourself.
Wow.
I mean, these trucks were built for people who wanted the experience of driving and to be in control of absolutely everything.
Everything.
It's really cool, man. This brings back something. Don't pull that.
I know. I like the
But
braided.
I love the leather
braided horn.
braided, the leather
Yeah.
braided horn. It's not just a little wire. That is super nice. Let me show you real quick how we used to do this. So this was right here because it was just right in your line of vision.
Right.
But still, it was.
That's pretty
I
slick.
love this leather braided. It's super nice.
Now,
All right.
It feels like you and I couldn't actually drive this together. Okay, there's a little
We
more
could.
space.
Yeah,
okay.
we could. We
A little more space.
We could. It's nice to, like, you could rub my shoulders like
Right,
I'm
I
driving.
could.
You could just kind of like, oh, that's nice.
Or
yeah.
I could not just hop. I could hop off the back and go to sleep.
Yeah, but you couldn't
you
get
could
to sleep with me sitting here. You had to do it beforehand. And actually, our old school seats, this little handles here would slide up and then twist back, and giving you more room to get in and out.
Okay.
They did away with
All
that
right.
a couple of years ago. The seat manufacturer quit making it, but yeah. Man, the memories, y'all. The
I bet.
memories.
I bet.
I want one. Glove box a little thin.
Yeah, a little thin. It's gonna fit your gloves
It's gonna fit your
and your
that's it.
safety glasses too, apparently.
Yeah.
So.
Welcome to the new W990.
W900.
W990.
Is it 990?
The 900 was what we were just in. W990.
Okay, gotcha.
This is the new version of the truck we were just in. As you can see, if you can, still got that nice long hood.
There's people standing in front of us that we can't see.
There's people, exactly, yeah. This is not
Wow.
child friendly. So, yeah, so much more room in the cab.
So much more room. There really is. Yeah.
Now this one's, it's just a very simple, almost coffin sleeper on
Yeah.
here. So we're not gonna go back there and show
no
y'all.
cabinets or anything back there. Just the
Just a bed.
bed.
It's not meant for that. It's a heavy haul, meant for just like a couple day trip out and back.
Yep.
But this is a super nice truck, man. So we've gotten rid of all the gauges because if you look right here in the very center, we got this gigantic screen. Right now it's freaking out because there's no air pressure in the system, but they have to do that for the show. But you have this gigantic, what is that? That's got to be like, what, 14 inches wide, something like that? That is a huge screen.
least.
And it gives you all your details. It's super, super nice. Yeah. 2 cup holders here on the dash. Everything's really nice and sturdy. Got your braided,
kept the braided airline.
Got the braided airline. You did lose your speakers up here, and you also lost your CB radio up here, but they got a mount, it looks like, right here for it. So you still have a place to keep it.
Looks like your lights are combined somewhat.
Yes, they have made the lights a little better.
Just 2 buttons now versus
4. Yep, 2 instead of 4. Yeah. Also, your air conditioner, and we had one of these Kenworths. We sold it, but they are now. You have the auto feature, so you can actually select your temperature you want, and it'll automatically turn the fan on more, make the air colder, make it warmer. Automatically assign it to blow out the top or the bottom, depending if heat or AC, which is super nice. So you can just kind of set that and forget it, and it's going to maintain temperature the whole time you're in the truck. And you get steering wheel controls. Look at this steering wheel. How nice is this?
Yeah, it's a nice
On the left-hand side, you've got cruise control. On the right-hand side, you've got your radio and music, and you can answer phone calls on this thing. It is super, super nice. It still has the non-auto canceling turn signals.
Really?
Still got to do it yourself. But that's fine. Again, if you're buying this truck, that's what you want.
Yeah.
And just so much more space in the cab. I can't tell you. I wish this was a full sleeper so you could experience or see the difference. You and I are at least 6 inches, 8 inches further from each other.
We are.
Like, this
Yeah,
is a
truly.
massive amount of space.
Literally, before in the other truck, I couldn't turn around and go back in the sleeper with you sitting there.
Correct.
Now I can.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now I can. Yeah.
It's really nice. They also do things like this truck has cab curtains, not an option in that older truck.
Right.
And so you can actually block out all the cab, all the windows, and make the
'cause
cab
you're
part of your
also
sleeper.
not blocking out your sleeper from your cab either. There's no curtains for that.
Correct.
Which
But
you don't need in this truck because
you don't, but in the bigger trucks, or I'm sorry, in the bigger sleeper trucks,
Yeah,
they do
they do
have
have
that
them?
curtain.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's super nice.
This isn't a high top roof either. It is a flat top.
It is flat top.
So you don't have that the need to walk back there because you don't have the space back there anyway.
Correct.
You are changing clothes at the bent over
Yeah.
position, but
And
it's still a nice truck.
It's still a manual transmission. The little things you don't see from that truck to this one, and we're going to try and highlight real quick, is like You've got not only one, but two 12-volt
12 volts,
outlets.
yeah.
You've got a USB on your radio, and it actually gives you a USB charger
Right.
built into the dash.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
The nice thing too is that you actually have openings here for wiring to come through.
Yes.
You have one here that they have the GPS attached to, and then you also have another one on this side for whatever you might have over here. So that's
Now
pretty slick.
when they built this thing, they do have a infotainment center that can go here.
Right, yeah.
Actually goes here. These gauges move here, and you
Okay.
got your infotainment center here. And that's going to be your navigation, truck navigation. It's going to have computers for the truck and everything.
Right.
If you have this giant screen, most people don't do it. Plus, you know, a lot of people nowadays with navigation, it changes so frequently.
fast.
They would rather have a portable unit that updates constantly and are able to get those. Whereas most of these built in the dash, every year you got to update it. It costs you so much money and such. So a lot of people do skip out on that. But it is nice. All these gauges are custom. So what they have here is not the standard. You can actually get whatever you want. And if you want, you can actually do gauges on both sides so that you are getting
So closer to what you had over
closer to
in the,
what you had over
the
there.
older style.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And I will tell you, from having, so that's a W9, this is a W990. I had a T660, which is the same sleeper cab as that, and then we had a T680, which is this cab.
Okay.
Night and day difference in
believe it.
ride.
I believe
So much smoother, so much more comfortable, and I can't even imagine, this is a longer wheelbase with a longer hood. This thing's got to ride like a freaking Cadillac
yeah,
or a Lexus
definitely.
going down the road.
Definitely.
I would love to take this thing out for a ride.
go
So
for
if
it.
you could please tell those people to move
Yeah,
and
out of the
get the
way, let's
keys,
go.
go talk to someone from Kenworth, and yeah,
I'm on my way.
this is a sweet
on
truck.
my way.
It's a sweet truck. I really like what they've done with the new 990.
You hang here, I'll get some keys.
Thank you.
We'll be on our way.
I even like the two-tone seat. Look at that. Super nice.
It reminds me of the Western Star, though, the colors.
I'd rather this.
Yeah.
I'd rather
No,
this
I
than the
thought
Western
that.
Star. Don't tell anybody. All right, let's. I love like tuck and roll, big time I think for Kenworth. Got a bottle holder here. Speakers are in the door. It's just such a cool truck.
Here we are at the Western Star. I don't know much about these trucks other than the fact they look super, super sexy. Beefy. I do know that Vince and I, our second truck, was a Western Star, and boy, just beautiful. I like the look. Out of all the trucks, this is my favorite one, I believe. Not necessarily this model, make, and brand, or model, make, but this brand. I really like the Western Star.
Melissa,
Yes,
do you notice the LEDs on the grill? That's
I did.
different.
It is different. Those weren't on my truck, our truck, Vince's and mine. Are they turning indicators as well, or just a light or a fog light? I don't have that information. Maybe you could drop it down in the comments below. Ooh, flashers.
We have to jump in the cab and start flipping switches.
All right, let's walk.
Purple and
I
flat
know.
gray.
So I was checking it out. Last night here at Matt's, they did a truck light show. I'm not sure if it was like in a parade fashion, but they had all the trucks outside in one of the lots, and they all had all their extra lights. I think it would have been really cool to go. Look at the smokestacks on that one. Are you a light person? Like, do you think that looks cool when they're tricked out with
Yes.
lights? Me too.
And this will caught my attention because I'm from South Louisiana, Mardi Gras, purple, gold, and green.
Oh. All right, this caught my attention because maybe one day, and I'm just kidding.
Can we deliver freight in that?
I don't know.
We can fit a pallet in the back, huh?
Can we fit one?
One pallet.
One pallet. Oh, yeah, one. One pallet.
Get this with Hyfield written on it.
I
Another
definitely would
thing,
need.
coming from South Louisiana, Patrick's told people about bringing oil filled parts, shotgun back and
Sure.
forth. Be a great shotgun.
There we go. There we go.
We're gonna need some fuel discounts though.
All I see is like mud on the wheels. I'm just kidding. It's a nice vehicle. Oh, I like the blue. And it's glitter.
Very themed.
Of course, who doesn't like glitter?
I can live without the glitter.
All right.
Both Patrick and I. Look at this.
Oh, I love it. Peer pressure. No. I could be peer pressured into that truck for sure. Oh, that's beautiful. I've decided that I'd like to go expediting with this vehicle. I can at least haul one pallet. I'd be happy to tarp it for you.
All right.
What do you think?
Well, let's see you get in it first. Come on.
No, I don't think I can get in it.
It's one giant step for humanity. Women. One giant step.
It's a pretty truck.
My question is, do you think they keep these tires like in the roadside? Like when you blow a tire on the road.
Right.
Do these come out like they have these in stock, or do you
Oh
keep
yeah,
spare?
roadside service, they've got them.
Roadside service.
They've got
Now.
I'm going to
Sure.
use the spare. It's going to be a little donut. Might be a little off balanced. Well, I'm a little donut on there.
I just wonder how smooth the ride is with that ginormous leaf
That's what I
spring.
was wondering too.
Well, you
I'm
know.
gonna go with you feel every pebble.
Okay. Look at that purple
Oh
shag carpet.
Gosh, yeah, the shag carpet.
How about the lowrider seat? I mean, I realize they've got it lowered all the way down, but that's funny.
The rhinestones and the
Do they really?
buttons, yeah.
Oh,
Look.
oh, they do. The purple ones. It's all padded and everything.
Very Prince.
Yeah. I think you could definitely trick it out in a Mardi Gras effect.
Yeah.
Add your own little, is it green?
Yeah. Let's sit in.
Can you sit in it? I don't know. Are they allowing people to? I don't know.
So, fun fact. These guys were late to the marshaling yard, and this is what happens when you show up at an expo center not on time,
Right.
and you demand they wedge your vehicle through the smallest door to get it here.
And they will wedge it through there.
They promised that they would get it on site,
Exactly.
and unfortunately,
Here it is.
Here it is. So, if you're doing a trade show, show up on time.
Yeah, be on time.
Be on time.
Good idea. Come on, buddy.
Go pilot shower.
Winner of game 1 versus the winner of game 2. If a driver says they see a bear in the bushes or a bear in the road, what do they see? Oh.
James got it.
We could care less what this booth is, right?
Yes, correct.
But my God, the padding. Sometimes at these shows, you just appreciate the padding in the carpet.
Yep, you just gotta pull
You
over
just
and
fake it. You're just like, yeah, we should totally, whatever this is for, just for a few minutes of reprieve
yeah.
on the ankles. Oh, it's so
And
nice.
these, in the lower
Yes.
back.
I feel like
I
I'm
love-
over here on this hard carpet, keeping folks from walking through. I'm being punished for some reason. I don't get it.
A little bit. A little bit.
is
This
nice.
is luxurious. I could sleep on this. It's wonderful.
I see women walking in higher heels shoes around here, and I just don't get it. I don't understand how you're
If
gonna
you're-
last all day.
Then next year when you go to Matt's, because by the time you watch this, you've already missed it.
Yes.
Walking shoes, new insoles, and fine plush carpet. But be careful. I've already tripped going from the regular carpet to the plush carpet. I've already almost face planted. Be
Yeah.
careful, but
And I can
treat
see
yourself. Treat yourself. How nice is that?
And I are Club Sketcher.
Club sketcher. I don't know. Are they letting people sit in it?
The door's open.
The door's open and they have a.
So, I mean, I guess. Can I sit in it?
They don't even work here.
She would like keys.
They don't
Did
even
anybody know
work
where the
here?
keys are? Big Al.
Oh yeah. I could drive this. It seats about 9. I could drive the whole Hyfield staff around in this.
Nice.
You can conduct board meetings in the back. We'll put a table back there.
Look at them. It's just so much chrome.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. And what's really nice about them, what people love them, is you actually have to use less air pressure, so you actually get a softer, plusher ride. There, it's beautiful. Oh man, y'all, this brings me back. Brings me back to Denham Springs Pilot, Shoney's.
Sitting on that doghouse.
Sitting in the doghouse,
Yeah.
my dad, his best friend Benny. I thought it was so cool because all the 18-wheelers I had seen up until then had big, long, like shifting poles or whatever
Right.
they're called.
Yeah.
And this one had like, it looked like it came out of a car, like a Trans Am
Right.
with that little
Little tiny
like
shifter.
little shifter boot or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was so cool. It just looked so sporty. It's funny, it looks so sporty, but from the outside, it's a giant square brick.
Yeah, that's probably the sensor for the fuel gauge. Our trucks have more than that. Our trucks have a few things coming out of them because they have to feed the APU.
Look at the wood grain, all those chrome gauges. It's like an economy seat on an airplane. It is super freaking narrow.
Yeah, it's very narrow.
It-
Super tight.
there is no space. I mean, look at the doghouse. They actually pushed out this metal
Wow.
for the gas for the fuel throttle, like that fuel pedal. That's crazy. Aerodynamics, you can tell because they curved this and they
Oh.
have a slight angle here. So
It
aerodynamic.
just pushes right through the wind.
Pushes right like a bullet.
Like a bullet.
Yeah. Now this catches a little wind, but
You know, that helps with lift though.
it does help with lift. Helps with lift. And that up there, the visor, it actually pushes it back down. So
Right.
it counteracts
It
the lift.
counteracts the lift.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't have too much lift.
But it all happens right in here though, so your tires don't have so much weight on them with
That's
that
right.
lift. So you know.
Well, and they say you got to get the like on the fairings and everything. You got the extenders, the rubber
Right.
extenders, because you want as little under the truck as possible. And as you see by
Exactly.
this giant bumper, very little clearance, which helps keep that bubble air around the vehicle.
It, yeah, it just floats down the road.
And we just grab right here, right, to pull it closed. So
Yeah.
if you want to grab that, we'll just open it up.
I think they'd appreciate us doing that.
They would not appreciate that.
Check the oil form while we're under there.
Wow, look at the steering wheel. How do you see out of there with that visor?
I don't know.
What a fun truck. I wonder if it's electric or if it's pneumatic. Old ones are pneumatic.
Really?
Yeah, they run off air pressure. It's actually got a great big sleeper on it. It's hard to tell, but it's probably a full-size bed. back there. You gotta let us know.
I ran into the snow chain people, and I thought they were called auto chains, but the company name is called On Spots.
Is this DOT compliant? If you have your coffee in it? No, officer, I swear, it's just a stimulant. Oh my gosh, look at the spoiler for the, look at this.
Oh yeah,
Look at
there's
this.
your aerodynamics right there.
You gotta make sure you have wind deflection over your air cleaner. And actually, if this is correct, and I believe it is, the wind comes over this and right into
the air cleaner.
The air cleaner, pulling that air through the filter and into the engine.
It's almost like a cold air intake on
It's
a
like
truck.
it's just like a cold air intake.
Yeah.
So like you'd have it on your Civic Si, but they also have it for Peterbilt's.
Right, exactly.
Love it.
Love it. So here you go with the 1981 Kenworth W900A.
Yes.
So contrast this with the 2024 we saw on the other side of the show.
Well,
Look at this grill.
yes.
It's still
back.
the same as it was then.
Well, it is, but if you notice, it's a little more square. It actually
more
looks
square,
a little wider.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is this is actually a short-nosed Kenworth. If you look back,
That's funny.
if you look back,
A short nose is 6
short
feet
nose is
versus
6
8
feet, exactly, versus 8 feet. But so the longer the nose is, it gets a little narrower, and that one we looked at earlier was a long nose,
Long
it's a
nose,
short
yeah.
nose.
Wow.
I love the little dove, geese.
Dove, sure.
But if
Swan,
you see,
thank you.
But they still have sealed headlights. They're just the round ones.
Right.
Love the covers. This is a fiberglass hood.
It is a fiberglass hood.
It's interesting.
You
I
can
thought
see that when
I
they're
thought it
close
would be
here.
aluminum
Yeah,
in the
fiberglass.
80s, but I guess they're using
81,
fiberglass back then.
fiberglass.
That's so cool. Two-piece windshield. It's not a one-piece. I love the bullet-looking lights up at the top.
Yeah.
The clearance lights, marker lights are awesome. And this one actually has a spotlight too.
I'd love to hear the horn on this thing.
I would not. Not this close.
Not this close, no.
Not this close. Next to it to the left, Mr. Big. That is Peterbilt's finest right there. Look at
Yes.
that thing. Facts, these old trucks don't have very good air conditioning. If you look up at the very top, that is actually an auxiliary air conditioner to help cool this cab over down. So you're
Interesting.
sitting right next to
Right
the
next to the-
engine,
right.
and
So
you're
it's
just,
hot
it's hot as
Can be.
can be, and that helps cool the truck down on the inside. So when this whole thing tips forward,
Right.
this actually stays.
Yeah,
This doesn't
right,
move.
right.
Just the cab moves. And I love, like, this is either oil or coolant or something that's for you to be able to check easy without having to tip the cab for your
everything
daily
over.
pre-trip. But then, like, the vent looks like they bought it from Home Depot. Like, just the little things like that. I mean, this is early days truck.
It looks like maybe a GPS.
There's your radiator. If you need to add coolant, right there, top of your radiator. That's got to be oil, right? I assume it's got to be oil.
It's got to be oil, yeah.
If you look at old pictures of trucks I don't know the date, I'm
Safety?
sorry, they actually would have been filled with license plates because every state you operated in, you had to
your
have a
own
license plate in
yeah.
that state.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we run apportion plates, which is why this one plate exists.
Portion, yeah.
But if you look at old pictures from the 80s, you're going to see a whole bumper full of license plates. I
Sure.
just love all the rivets. You know, this is aluminum. They weren't welding aluminum
Right.
back then. They were
Right.
still riveting it all together. And that's
I mean,
what
on
made
the doors even.
on the doors, on the side,
Around the
everything.
side of the doors.
Like, that's what made Peterbilt so incredible was how many rivets.
They're easier to see on this truck because they're not painted.
Yes.
So you can actually see the
Oh,
the
they were
stainless
painted
rivets.
at one point.
Well, but now I'm saying it's easier to see what
Yeah.
we're talking about because you have the contrast
All
over
these
here.
rivets.
Yeah.
So this right here, this Freightliner logo, you'll see it's got a screen over it. It's
Yeah.
actually the air intake for the truck. Modern,
Interesting.
quote unquote modern cab overs like that Peterbilt there has the they'll pull the air in from the back, get it up high, get it
Okay,
colder.
yeah.
So colder air up in the air, burns, gives you a little more performance in the engine. On the other cab over, they had a little thing up top on top of the roof that had the for the air conditioner. If you come close, you'll actually see Freightliner has a coil for the air conditioner right here behind the grate, and then below it, behind it, is the radiator for the truck engine. So the cold air blows across the top radiator that's kind of out front. That's for the air conditioning, and right below it is for cooling the engine down. So that's why this one doesn't have a rooftop one. The spring is this big. I think a Cascadia has like a 5.5 foot long spring. This is of the age of like, we just need it to flex enough that it doesn't break the truck. And this probably was not an air ride seat to begin with.
Right. No,
This is probably
wasn't.
a fixed seat. It is air ride on the back.
Okay. All right.
So it was air ride back there, but. So this is a good example. When we say these are cab overs, they are cab over engine. And if you look on the back of this thing, you can actually see that huge Caterpillar engine back there. Now, Caterpillar wasn't known for fuel efficiency, they were just known for power. Caterpillars were super powerful engines compared to the competitors. And, I mean, it's just all engine, as much as they could fit in there. That doghouse, you see there's literally millimeters, not even an inch, not even an inch.
Between the doghouse and the...
Between the doghouse and the engine, and the air intake, and all the other stuff that goes along with it. So these cab overs, I mean, they are nothing but cabin engine. And they're aluminum boxes, man. These are like super, super lightweight, a lot of power, excellent maneuverability.
Right.
So much easier to maneuver
Well, these
than
things were
a hood
designed to
engine.
get the job done. Not that the trucks we have today aren't designed to get the job done, but this was designed to get the job done, not for comfort. Let's get out, go to work, get that freight from point A to point B, and keep moving.
Yep. This one is, oh my gosh, it's named the Widowmaker. So true.
Oh, wow.
You know, a friend of mine once told me, he's like, the only problem with cab overs, you're the first one to the scene of an accident. And he's not lying.
that's
This is
true.
actually not that old of a
That's
cab
true.
over, man. This is pretty modern. I remember these running over at like Walmart and stuff had these. Of course, they didn't have that. They didn't have that massive chrome bumper when they were running for Walmart.
Here's our sign here.
1997, 475 cat. Told you, remember we were looking at 350 horsepower over there. 475 horsepower cat. This was a beast. Super powerful, man.
It's missing the ladies.
So back in the day, you've got different people, different manufacturers with different philosophies. Freightliner, Peterbilt, Kenworth, they all said, let's build the lightest possible truck so you can haul more freight. Mack, Volvo, Western Star said we're going to build a heavy duty truck that's going to be very safe, and it's going to be super powerful, and we really don't care so much about your lightweightness as much as we do making an overbuilt truck. So right here you've got a Mack next to a Freightliner. Mack uses steel cabs, just like Volvo and Western Star at the time. They were building out of steel, they weren't building out of aluminum. And you can notice the Mack doesn't have any rivets. Where it comes together, it's bonded and welded, just like your car would be. So there's no rivets on it like the Freightliner has, like the Peterbilt has, or the Kenworth has. It is all welded structure. There's no rivets in the door, there's no rivets in the cab, there's no rivets in the sleeper. This is steel. So when these were being built, you could weld steel very easily, just like they weld aluminum now, because they've gotten really good at it. Back in the day, they were able to weld steel very easily. So this truck weighed a lot more, but it was made out of heavy duty steel. So if this got in a wreck versus the Freightliner getting in a wreck, the driver has a better chance of survival, and the truck can be pretty much rebuilt and put back to work.
Right.
Whereas the Freightliner was kind of a throwaway. Once it got in a wreck, you threw it away, you bought another one. That's what insurance companies are for. Example of what the differences are and why these trucks don't have rivets, but the other ones do. Imagine buying steer tires like this for one of your trucks. This is just like, Mack built a heavy duty truck for a heavy duty truck driver. They could not care less about your quality of ride, your comfort, nothing. Look at this. This is a good example. When we say air ride seat, and if it doesn't have an air ride seat, right here, look at this. Look at this thing. That's a solid seat. Look at look at the dash. You can just see real quick from the dash. It's not wood, it's wood. It's like a piece of wood laminate over steel. That thing is built to be abused. That's why they were dump trucks. That's why they were wreckers. That's why they were all that stuff. It's also why these trucks rust, because steel rusts, aluminum doesn't. So that's why there's not as many survivors of these older trucks as there are of the Freightliners and Kenworths and Peterbilts, is because steel rust, and so a lot of them are just lost to time. We saw this truck last year. So if you saw our tour of Matt's last year, you saw this truck. This is Marmon. Marmon was the boutique best built truck on the market. They built these all special order. There was not a dedicated, like,
Really?
if you buy Marmon, you're going to get one of these. No,
Yeah.
every single
All
one
custom.
they built was special order. They were super nice trucks. They came with the best of the best. I mean, they are just really impressive trucks. They could care less about aerodynamics. That was not part of their concern. Back then, fuel was less than $1 a gallon, so who cared? So what it was about was power. What it was about was the ability to not break down, and Marmon delivered on that.
Hey Patrick, come see.
Yep.
I noticed the coils on the top of the truck.
Yes.
Do you know what those are?
Yes, that's in-cab air conditioning. So if you remember from that truck over there, that yellow one, it has a more modern version of that with the white plastic around it. And then on top of the roof. And then we looked at the Freightliner. The Freightliner has the air conditioner coils in the radiator, in front of the radiator. That's just the cooling capacity unit for the air conditioning. So these old school trucks didn't have, like, that Freightliner is much newer. So these older trucks don't have that technology. So they literally put them on top, and they relied, like Freightliner relied, and Peterbilt relied on like companies like Red Dot to provide that for them. So it was an option from the factory, but like Mack and Freightliner didn't make their own air conditioning systems. They would just buy it from another company and add it to the truck.
Okay, I'm
So-
glad they developed the technology where they're not so exposed.
I
More
agree.
protected.
Like it was good for the time. We've come a long way. Actually, fun fact, our Western Star 5700s, all of them have Red Dot, the same company that makes those, still makes them today. They all have Red Dot air conditioners in the dash. So when you're in one of our Western Star 5700s and you're driving down the road, you're getting the same company that built these 1970s air conditioners is running that air conditioner system. They do not use a Daimler air conditioner, even though they're owned by Daimler.
That's really cool.
Something interesting here is this Kenworth has a winter front on it, which the winter front is the cover over the radiator. What that does is it doesn't allow the cold air to go in during cold weather, so the truck can maintain temp. Trucks generally want to run at a certain temperature. If they run too cool, they're not as efficient, they don't work as well. So the winter front blocks that cold air, keeps the engine warmer, and allows the engine to run at its max efficiency. During the summer, they would take this off. They don't need that. They get as much airflow in to cool the engine. So modern trucks don't use a winter front because the fans regulate better. They're more efficient at keeping the engine warm or allowing the engine to stay warm and also cooling the engine during the summertime. So that's why you don't see winter fronts on modern trucks anymore. Some drivers will still use them. They believe in them. Most of the trucks that are out there aren't going to have a winter front on them during the winter.
So even in winter, they still have to have some airflow.
Sure,
Is that
so that's
why
we-
they have this?
Yeah, you still need
snapbacks?
airflow. You still have airflow. So the airflow on this truck, this could certainly be the air intake on this truck as well. I don't see.
It has one back there.
It has one back there.
Yeah.
Okay, but you still want airflow on the radiator. You don't want to overheat the engine by covering it up and blocking off too much air. So you still want some airflow, just not as much. You know, you don't want negative 10-degree air going through there in the winter and cooling you down way too cold.
Well, there is shock cooling too, like where you cool the engine way too fast and the metals don't expand.
Yeah, metals
and
don't expand and
contract
contract
correctly.
as you'd like. They go too fast. Sure. So that's the winter front.
Can I be honest with you? I am so glad we don't have this anymore. This seems like a nightmare.
Yeah, it really does.
I've seen
really
some
does.
regional school buses that have them, but those are much smaller engines, and so they're not really over-the-road trucks.
They're
But
not.
over-the-road trucks don't have these little twist snaps or anything
don't.
anymore. They
No, they don't.
Hey, babe,
Hey,
come look at this.
what am I looking at?
Stand there. Stand in there. Look at this. So, fun fact.
Okay.
Back in the day, this
Yeah.
is where you kept your homing pigeon.
Really?
And yes, and so you'd go out over the road, and when you
Okay.
parked, you would send messages home to your lovely bride. And then they would just happen to know where you were the next day, hundreds of miles
I was going to
later.
ask that question, how they got
Yes,
back to you.
But that's where they were kept.
That's good to know. Well, thanks for
Honestly,
sharing that.
I don't know what it is, but I'm sure Patrick does or Vince does. Do you know what it is?
I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know.
it's
I
another one of
haven't-
those air
I haven't had a
thingies.
chance
It
to
looks
look
like
at
an
it
air
yet
thingy.
because
See, it's going
you
all
just
the way
walked me
over.
over. I think it is air intake.
It looks like a bird basket or a bird hut or it's pretty fancy.
It's got a tag on the side here. Doesn't tell us where it is, but it came from Los Angeles, California. The Farr Company. Can I switch places
Yeah,
with you?
absolutely. I was just kidding.
It is. It's an air intake. You can
Yeah.
see the way it's an air intake. Yeah. 1991 Ford Aeromax.
1991 Ford Aeromax, like you said, got a 425 Cat, 13-speed Eaton. This is such a cool truck. It was actually originally owned by Bigfoot, the monster truck people.
Okay.
But that's not what I want to talk about, although that's a really cool history.
It is cool history, yeah.
I want to point out the fact that this truck has all these aerodynamics to it,
Yeah.
right? We got the non-sealed beam headlights. We got curved surfaces. We have a bumper that's not perfectly flat. It's
Right,
actually quite
it's got
curved.
yeah.
The grille is curved. Everything's curved. We get back here. The door takes the contour of the truck.
Right.
And then we bounce up to this sleeper with this huge air dam, I don't know, a fairing over it. We have full fairings. 1991.
Yeah, full fairings
we have
across
full
everything
fairings
underneath.
across it.
Yeah.
This truck was as aerodynamic as they knew how to make it back in the day. The cool thing about it was, back in the 80s and 90s, Ford was actually on the cutting edge of aerodynamic trucks. Freightliner wasn't even thinking aerodynamic trucks. Kenworth had put out the T660 in 1987, 88, something
Okay.
like that. T600, sorry. And it was kind of aerodynamic.
Right.
It still had steel beam headlights. It was still very square,
Sure.
even though they tried to. Ford was really on the cutting edge of that aerodynamic revolution. That's why it's called the Aeromax. Like, that's really what they were going for. This is an L900 or 9000 that's actually been made into an aerodynamic model. Most people believe it is because of what they were doing that Freightliner ended up buying Ford. They ended up buying all the Ford heavy-duty trucks,
Right.
all the Class 8 business, Class 7, 8 business, which is why Ford today only makes Class 5, 6, 7 business trucks. But they were so far ahead of their time. They were doing stuff other people weren't doing, and their trucks were performing
Right.
so well that Freightliner was going, we could design all this from scratch,
Right. It costs a lot of money.
or
Spend a little bit of that cash and buy Ford's already doing it. Buy
Exactly.
their IP and just
roll
one.
with it.
Two things happen there. We buy their IP. We have that engineering. Two, we buy a competitor.
We get a competitor out of the
Yeah,
market. Absolutely.
exactly.
Because they're all
Exactly.
using the same engines.
Sure.
They're all using the same transmissions, same axles.
Right.
Like, there's only so many people that are making that stuff. Ford is making their cabs out of steel. You do see that change. That Freightliner does switch
Right.
them over to fiber to aluminum. But like, this is a huge fiberglass hood. So you see Ford at the very cutting edge of that. Again, find a 1990s truck that's not using steel beam headlights. They don't exist.
They don't.
Like, this is unheard of.
Yeah.
Find an early 90s truck that has a aerodynamic bumper. It doesn't exist.
No.
All of this was like revolutionary at the time.
Revolutionary.
We
All
look at
new
this
for the
now
time.
and we go, well, the hood's not really that sloped. The windshield's completely flat. It's
Sure.
almost 90 degrees.
But
like,
for the
it's-
time,
it was huge. It was massive. And yeah, I love these old Ford trucks. Even if you go look at the dash is laid out well. It's very user-friendly. It's very ergonomic.
okay.
So we've got aerodynamics on the outside. We've got
Right.
ergonomics on the inside. It is a well thought out, well laid truck. Hey everybody. It's not good, is it?
Is anybody else tired, exhausted after a long day of walking mats?
I am so fatigued. My legs
Yeah.
are like, what do you, thumping? I don't
Throbbing? Yes.
Yeah.
to La Miz.
Yep. So, would you recommend to new people coming or their first time, would you say plan it over the course of at least 2 days? If you could do all 3, that would be good?
So, Matt's is set up for a 3-day experience. And that's the way they designed it and envisioned it. They understand a lot of people won't be here, but for 2 days. That's fine. We're doing a 1-day super spectacular. And it is simply not enough time.
Where we've walked the entire show.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have a truck pool on one day and the concert tonight and
That's right.
the light show last night. And I mean, like you said, it is set up for a 3-day event.
It's a lot.
And maybe come do part of this show and then come back for whatever their nightly event is.
Absolutely. Like our first time coming. So the first day we spent over in the South Wing, I think it is.
That's South Wing, yeah.
And spent time with the vendors and the recruiters. And we saw FedEx and we saw Panther and all that stuff. And then the next day we kind of explored from there. And then the last day we came all the way to the ARI booth. And of course back then the OEMs were here. So we saw the Western Star booth. We saw the Freightliner booth and all that stuff. And it was very well spaced, and we never really got tired. This time around, we're doing it all at one day.
Yeah.
So we're all a little exhausted, but it has still been a great show.
Sure.
It's been a lot of fun.
Sure.
Good conversations.
Thanks
Yes.
to us express walking around and Jerry's great editing, you get to experience it in, what, an hour? 2
Yes,
hours?
yes.
Yeah.
And I personally want to thank the inventor of Advil. Because they have been the show winner for today. But no, it's been a lot of fun. We've been able to see a lot of cool trucks. I mean, we're in one right now. We're in a beautiful ARI sleeper from you can get it at Fight a Freightliner. It's a really great show. You do get to experience a lot. Get to hang out with the people from 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven has a big truck stop wing.
Yeah.
One of us,
The slushy booth?
someone got a slushie for free.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to say who.
Yeah. Don't need to say who.
And
Oh, really?
we
I've got to add, for this recording, instead of Optavia, we're sponsoring
buy ibuprofen.
ibuprofen.
Yes.
It's a generic brand.
That's our fueling for the day is ibuprofen. All of us are so tired. We're so worn out at this point.
So
We've been
if
going
you're
at it for 7 hours, 8 hours. I'm gonna say 8 hours. 7 hours and 21 minutes.
Yep.
So definitely, if you're coming, plan for 2 days. Don't stress yourself out.
Bring your walking
Absolutely.
shoes.
And we thought we're all seasoned veterans of this show.
Yeah.
And I really thought we could knock it out. Only see the highlights of what we want to see, and boy, it doesn't change the scale. The scale is still huge.
Yeah.
The show is still massive.
Sure.
And we're tired, but it's really cool. We got to hang out with our carriers.
Yeah.
Had some really good conversations with Panther and Arc Best. Had a really great conversation with people at FedEx Custom Critical. My question to you that I want to pose is, so far, of everything we've seen at the show, what has been your favorite?
I'm going to say, I'll give you some homework. Find the dishwasher.
Ha!
Comment if you found the dishwasher.
Yes.
I think my favorite has been the Kenworths.
Oh, the Kenworth booth.
The W900 and the W990.
Yes.
I think that was really cool to hear the history to hear you with your memories of driving the Kenworth, and then but comparing the two.
Yeah.
You know, the even though they're both brand new trucks, the W900 being the classic styling and the 990 being the newer styling. I think that was one of my favorite things in the show.
I gotta say, I wish Eric would have been a part of that. He was doing something else at the time, but just being in that sleeper, the memories. Oh my gosh, like that was really cool to experience.
That was cool.
And Kenworth's not making them anymore. There's only a few out there at certain dealerships, and when they're gone, they're gone.
Well, the 900.
Yeah.
That truck we win was one of 900.
And it's done.
That's it.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like closing a door on our history, but also
Right.
closing a door on Kenworth's history. That was really cool. I
Sure.
did enjoy that with you.
Sure.
Me? My
Yeah,
turn?
your turn.
I would say it's the big kitchen in one of the super sleepers over here.
I gotta go see that.
Just the layout of these trucks. I mean, I've been in quite a few of the super sleepers, and that one was pretty cool. And then I would say, this is gonna sound weird, but the trailers, you know, those really shiny trailers we were looking at.
Oh yeah.
We actually ended up walking underneath of one of them, and that was a really neat experience to just kind of check out that from the underneath view.
Sure.
Without being a mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
right. Or without it being greasy or dirty or any of those other things. It just, you know, they have these elevated, and that was just something really cool to do. I mean, again, we've seen most of these booths last year. Last year was my first time, and it was a really cool time. But, and then I would say probably the 70s game show host that they had going on. I thought his outfit was...
Oh, over at International?
I thought
that
his
was
outfit
really
was
cool.
on point, and I'm like, what a way to attract people and really get people drawn into whatever you're trying to do.
That mustache was fake, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, the whole outfit
yeah.
was the toupee, whatever else he was doing.
Yeah, it was all soft.
So
He had a toupee on?
good.
Yes.
It was a something. It was a piece.
It was
Oh,
a
I
piece.
totally missed the hairpiece.
Yeah, it was a piece.
I saw the mustache look like he had a comb against his face.
Yes.
Like, it was hysterical.
I caught that while they were doing some trivia, and while they were asking the questions, I was yelling out the answer in my head. I knew a lot of it.
Yeah.
So, Eric, what was your favorite part so far?
Like I said, the dishwashing. Also, I'm originally from South Louisiana. You're from New Orleans. I'm from Acadiana, which is Lafayette, Lake Charles area.
Yep.
I ran into a booth that is a fabrication shop from Maurice, Louisiana, which, if my family's watching this, is really close to where I grew up most of my life. It was really cool to see them. Themed it out, like the tin roofs, the Acadian style architecture, and the moss hanging from the edges. It was really cool. I loved it.
That's very neat. I mean, like, that's one of the cool things about these shows, I think, is, yes, we're in Louisville. We're in the middle of America. It's a Mid-America Truck Show. We are in the dead center. But you've got people from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Maurice.
Sure.
Kenworth is out of Seattle, I think. But they build their trucks in Chillicothe. Peterbilt is out of Denton, Texas. Like, there are companies from all over the country here, and more than that, there's a whole section of this truck show that's dedicated to the the Chinese manufacturers, aftermarket manufacturers.
Right. Yeah.
So it's literally a worldwide show here. So you do get to see people from all over the place. You get to mingle and talk, and you do find people from where you're from. You get to find people. We looked at a cab over truck, which is going to be my favorite spot of the show, is seeing the old working trucks. So these are trucks that are antiques, as you would call them, but they're still working trucks. They're still out there, pulling trailers,
doing things every day.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was my favorite part of the show. And experiencing, like, we saw a Freightliner there that was the same model, year, etc., as the very first truck I was ever in. Seeing these old trucks and getting to appreciate the heritage they're coming from, the changes in technology, the lifestyle from back in the day, where we come from, our heritage, our history as truckers. We're not that old, but we're at least 100 years old. And then also, like, meeting people from, like, the guy that we saw there had a Kenworth K100, beautiful truck from Defiance, Ohio.
Yep.
That's an hour and a half from us.
Yeah, about that.
I mean, like, pretty close.
Yeah.
And he had this beautiful antique truck, and he still hauls freight daily. He's only here for the show, and then he's back down to Florida, and then up to Ohio, and all this stuff. It's just like, that's the kind of stuff that I love, and I really love about coming to these kind of shows and getting to experience that. Yeah. Because in your daily, walk, I'm not seeing a cab over truck, let alone 10.
No, yeah.
I'm not seeing...
It's very rare.
I'm meeting a lot of people driving for a mega carrier. I'm not meeting a lot of people that are independent.
Right.
And seeing that culture, that part of Americana that still exists, I really love that. So that's been a big highlight of the trip. And of course, the big bunk sleepers. I love these big custom sleepers. We've built our business around these custom sleepers. This is a blast for us. I mean, the fact that we're able to literally commandeer this truck, like, and have these this little last-minute video, and I'm looking out the windows, and we can see people crawling in and out of trucks, and they're like, "Why is this one shut up?" But like, it's really cool to be able to experience this, be able to enjoy this aspect of life and this segment of our industry. It's been really, really fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We've had a blast here at Matt's. We can't wait to come back to you next week. And in the meantime, everybody, stay safe, make good decisions.
Don't leave money on the table. Somebody say keep those wheels a turning.
Keep those wheels a turning.
Bye.
Bye.
Do 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 do.
Good night.